Hello and welcome back to Queen's Crochet, South Carolina. I'm your host, Bridget. Today is November the 14th. It's Thursday. I wanted to show you a few things that I've been working on and do this 20 question challenge or 20 question tag thing, I guess it's called. Show you a few acquisitions and talk to you about a few people I've been watching, things like that. First off, we'll start with, this was the second hat that I completed knitted. It was supposed to be the Ross hat. I have never watched a YouTube video on how to knit a hat. I read the pattern. As you may or may not know if you've been watching for a little while, knitting is a very, very new undertaking of mine. I've made a little rag and two hats, and I think it's been about 2 weeks I've been knitting, week and a half, something like that. Anyways, I made this one. It was from the Lion brand, hand-dyed. The one that was dirty when I got it, and oh, did that mess my hair up. Oof. Look at a hot mess now. But anyways, because I've never knitted, Ross has always said, once he does the ribbing, he knits. Okay, so, but I was looking at the pattern that says knit stockinette. I'm like, well, uh-oh. Did I do something wrong with the first hat that I made? Let me type this in. YouTube I go. Mikey popped up from the Crochet Crowd and knit stockinette, knit one way, purl the next, one row, the next, purl the next, whatever. So this is what I did. I knit one row and I purled the other all the way up. But I got looking at Ross's hat and I'm like, this doesn't look right to me. But I'm like, well, okay, I guess, what do I know? Maybe I'm not seeing it right, whatever. And then I asked, I asked somebody, am I supposed to just do the knit stitch all the way up or do this knit and purl? And of course, they told me I was supposed to just do the knit stitch. But I am going to call it a win. I think the hat is cute. It fits me. It's not right, but, I can try again. Learning experience. This is the first one that I completed in the Red Heart Bonbon. It was just a scrap ball. I figured I didn't want to start a new ball of yarn and then not like knitting. So I figured I'd start with my scraps. Turned out wonderful. I, in fact, liked it so much that this morning on the way to the gym, I cast it on. And while at the gym on the bike, I was doing my ribbon. Only reason I started doing that, started yet another whip, is because I didn't feel that two little balls and a pair of two socks at a time would be a good bike project. I cast it on last night and did 2 rounds. So far, I'm very much enjoying these. I did try with 4-weight first, and this I'm doing with the Perfect Pair from Loops and Thread. Its color is Pink Cadillac. It's a #1 Superfine. It is, let me see, okay, it's 70% acrylic, 23% viscose from bamboo, and 7% polyester. it says you can wash and dry it. It says 2.75 millimeter knitting needles, 3.25 crochet hook. And that is what I am using, is the 2.75 needles. These are Clover. I went to Michael's and got those. Let's see. One of my acquisitions, my knit crate, came in. I have opened it. In there, we got some tea. There was 3 flavors. I tried one. Smelled wonderful. Tasted good. Not my thing. Yarn is deliciously soft. And it's actually... there we go. There's true to color. I'm not a purple person at all. Matter of fact, it's probably about my least favorite color in the world. But this is so soft that I will definitely be making something with it. I'm thinking about knitting with it. I think it, I want to see the difference between knitting with natural fibers like this versus the acrylic. You know, I've heard a lot of people talk about the differences, but I would like to learn that for myself. This here is Knitology Glowing Worsted Colorway Beta. 40% superwash merino, 30% silk, 30% alpaca, worsted weight, 150 yards. And it says US 8 to 10s and 5 to 6 millimeter. It says hand wash cold only, lay flat to air dry. Cannot wait to get working with this. And then, I'll show you my crocheted finished objects. I finished five more of these in the gray, and I finished 3 in the yellow. I didn't get these tails weaved in, but on the note of these, I'm not going to be making the hats that I talked about because the party has been rescheduled to a date in which we are not going to be able to attend, so I will pass these out at a later date to the members in the club. Now I'll show you, my wonderful fiance took me shopping, and I'm so happy he did. I was watching Petra from Foxy Creations. I started binge watching her recently. My goodness, she has a lot of videos to get through. But she showed some fabric that I fell absolutely in love with, and she said that she had found it at Joann's. I'm like, well, let me go and see if maybe I can find it. If not, maybe they will be able to point me in the right direction of where I might order something like that, or how to look it up to order the specific material I was looking for. This is the material. Oh, they're upside down. Sorry. There we go. Aren't they gorgeous? And then this side. This is going to make a killer project bag. I cannot wait till we get this move over with so that I can get to my sewing machine and all its parts and get that stitched up. And that was actually a really good deal. It was 50% off because it was considered a Halloween fabric. And then I had a 20% off even sale items. We bought every last inch that they had. And my fiance found this and fell in love. I was thinking some curtains for our game room, for our pool table, and whatever else I can think of, because that's just wicked. And then I walked right past it. I don't usually go to the fabric side of Joann's just because I knew this move would be coming up. So I've been trying not to buy more to pack. But when you come across a deal like that, you know, make an exception to the rule. Well, on the way to the fabrics, we passed an aisle, and he speaks up and lets me know we just passed an entire aisle stuffed to the gills with clearance. And over, I'd say about half the aisle was yarn. And then besides the yarn that they had on the aisle, they had these great big giant tubs of yarn. They didn't have clearance stickers on them, but I was like, well, they're sitting right here next to, maybe they just didn't have room for it to put it up, or they just haven't got the stickers on them yet. So I hunted down a staff member, and they did let me know, yes, it is indeed on clearance, and what the price was. So I picked out just a couple balls because I was wanting to make the socks and that. So I picked out some Premier Serenity sock. It again is number 1 super fine, 2.75 millimeter needles, 3.5 millimeter hook, 230 yards, and it's 1.76 ounces or 50 grams. I thought this color was really pretty. And then also Serenity sock, same, stats for this one. Colorway is gray flannel. Sorry, I forgot to tell you the one color on this one is chai. So I got 2 of both of those. There you go. And that was that. And he said I've been trying to not spend on things that are going to have to just be packed. Yeah, let's see. I think that was it for my makes and the bike party. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this 20 questions tag, I figure I'll do it, because Debbie at the Canadian Crocheter said anybody that wants to do it, she was tagging, so I'm going to take that, and so, even though I wasn't specifically named in the tag. Question number 1, what does your name mean? And I actually had to look it up. It's the name means it's angelic, an Irish female. It's divined from the noun bri, meaning power, strength, vigor, and virtue. I thought that was a pretty neat thing to learn. Where are you from? I am from Wisconsin. It's, where were you born? I was born in a city, I guess, a very small city in Wisconsin. It's called Portage. And grew up in and around that area, the very younger part of my life, and then moved towards the southwestern part of Wisconsin for most of my childhood. What would your parents have named you if you were a boy? And no idea. They never had any boys. And that subject was a little bit touchy. So I have no idea. Biggest accomplishment. Of course, my children, which I don't discuss on here. But besides that, I guess my biggest accomplishment would be finding the will and power within myself to survive past the point in which they said that I would. I'm going to call that an accomplishment. Eye color. Well, honestly, I have one blue eye and one blue and brown eye. I have a tumor in my eye that started as about the size of the end of a pencil when I was born and continuously grew up until my adulthood when it finally stopped growing. This is a trait that I passed on to my youngest. Favorite candle scent? Hands down, cinnamon. Not like cinnamon stick cinnamon, but spicy cinnamon. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love me some cinnamon rolls, or, you know, a lot of cinnamon in my pumpkin pie, you know, stuff like that. But as a scent, I like that spicy, just, it's got to have a good spice to it. I do also like vanilla, however, the king does not, so it's a scent that I don't burn in the house anymore. Can you cook? I don't know. Baby, can I cook?
Yep.
Yep. The king says yes, so we're going to say yes. Well, actually, I'm Italian. It's in the nature. What is good in my life right now? Hands down, this has been truly a better part of my life than I have ever experienced before. Not to say that when I was younger and had my kids and they were growing up and whatnot, it wasn't fantastic, because it was. But now I have a wonderful relationship. My life is stable. There are things that I would like to be better, things that I would like to be different, such as my house not taking so long to sell so that we could get settled and get started on what we truly want to do. But other than the house not selling as quick as we would like, I have absolutely no complaints. Health is neither here nor there, but life as itself is happy and good. Number 10, what's your sign? I'm a Capricorn. I was born January 11th. What scares you about aging? Honestly, aging doesn't scare me. The inability to age scares me. Favorite holiday? I would say any holiday that involves the family gathering around and spending time together. You know, not just, you know, me and my sister and her kids, or me and the king and his parents, but where we get to spend the time with everybody. Most years, Christmas and Thanksgiving we host Christmas here at our home so that I can spend time with my family and he can spend time with his, all under one roof as one family. It's quite special to me. Guilty pleasure. Coffee. Coffee, 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 coffee. Cold brew coffee with a hint of chocolate. I love some mocha. And I actually like peppermint in my coffee too. It's very good. My favorite coffee place would be Gloria Jean's. Unfortunately, they're 2.5 hours away. Let's see. Favorite show to binge watch. My favorite show that I have ever binge watched, Game of Thrones. A very close second, though, would have to be Sons of Anarchy. Now, I absolutely loved Sons of Anarchy. And there was turmoil and everything going on in that show, but there was so much in Game of Thrones. The first episode, man, I tell you what, I cussed him out for wanting me to watch that stuff. I was mad. But then he kept watching, a couple of episodes after that, and I was in the kitchen doing something one day, and he had an episode playing. And for whatever reason, something drew me to the corner of the kitchen where I can see into the living room, see the TV from where it was at the time. And I think I stood there for about half the show, stuck. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. And so I sat down. We watched it all the way through, and now this is before the last season came out, and right before we knew the last season was going to start, we binged it again so that we had fresh memories for when the new season started. We watched every single show, and he's already been told that is what I am getting him for Christmas this year because we own the DVD set, and we got to have that last season. Let's see. Something I can't leave the house without. Well, besides the obvious things, and to me, a cell phone is an obvious thing. Just because for safety reasons, you should have it on you, even if it's not a one that's connected. You can always call 911 with it. For me, I generally do not leave the house without my yarn, hook, or needles now, depending on what project I'm working on. Because even if I have to drive and I'm going across town, I never know when I might have to sit and wait on something. And if I don't bring it with me, and then I have a free moment, I feel guilty for not getting that project worked on. Let's see. Morning, am I a morning person or nights? I am 100% a night owl. I don't sleep a whole lot or very well. And I generally stay up very, very late at night. Favorite genre of movie? I would action, suspense, a little bit. I'm not really big into the dramas. Horror movies are good. But honestly, since I started doing the YouTube thing and really started binge watching a whole lot of YouTubers, I haven't turned the TV on. I haven't had any desire to turn the TV on. I used to have Investigation Discovery or, some cop show on, some detective show on, real life stuff, not fictional. I watched it nonstop, but since I really got into YouTube, there's no desire for it at all. The last thing I bought, the last thing I personally purchased was my knit crate. Introvert or extrovert? Though I do like being around people, I am more an introvert, as I lack the confidence to get out there and just start talking to somebody. Generally, if you don't approach me, yeah, I'm probably not going to say a whole lot to you, unless like it's just something I just have to say, like I compliment your blouse or something like that. I just keep to myself. And favorite book, I think, China's Autobiography. Yeah, I really, really liked that book. I started reading it, and it only took me like a day or two to complete it, and I'm a slow reader. I couldn't put it down, but that was quite a while ago. I generally don't read a whole lot of books. I don't have the time for it. I need my hands and concentration for crochet. Okay, the people I'm going to tag. Victoria, Alaska Crafty Gal. I can't remember her name, but Black Ribbon Studio. Cindy at Cindy Hearts Crochet. Cindy the Crocheter A. Classy Kim, and Hook Me Up Crochet. As well as Charlie from Have a Yarn with Charlie. Veronica from Vedos Crochet. And I think that'll do it. If you want to get in on this, I would love to see what your 20 questions are. And I guess that's all for today. I will see you all again shortly, hopefully with another hat and a new pair of socks. Until then, keep crafting. Bye.